Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Syracuse Nationals Facebook Live series. This will be a continuing series that we're going to do from week to week, keep you updated, and bring you little tastes of the Syracuse Nationals. Before we get started, though, we're going to do something really cool today. We're going to do a contest today. So what you do, we got some T-shirts. We got one T-shirt to give away. And in case you haven't seen this before, we have Syracuse Monopoly. It has what's really cool. It has all the cities or all the streets and features in Syracuse. What we're really excited about is the car piece is actually the Syracuse Nationals 32 Ford. So this is a limited edition. So we're going to give this away during the podcast. And all you have to do to enter the contest to win either one of them is to comment Big Schwag. Comment Big Schwag in the comment section, and you're automatically entered to win. We'll announce the winner at the end of the podcast. So it's a heck of a segue. We have Brett.
And when you mention the big swag, the FBI will also come to your house. So either way, you win a game and then you get the FBI at your door. So it's a win-win.
Well, that's a bonus then.
Sorry about that.
That's a bonus. So as you can hear, we have Brett Big Schwag Wagner. You might have seen him at the Syracuse Nationals for a number of years now, 4 or 5 years. He's been hosting the now renamed Sparky's Rockabilly Roundup area. He hosts everything there from the pinup contest to the backyard build-off. There he is with Sparky right there, our good buddy Sparky, up on the stage running things. Brett has also been in numerous TV series, movies, NCIS, Sons of Anarchy, Snoop Dogg's Joker's Wild. I didn't get to see that show, but I'm going to have to look that one up. Also Pastime and a bunch of other movies. So let's bring Brett in here and we'll talk to him and get things going. What's up, Brett?
How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Can you
How's
hear
things
me?
out in California?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, California, I just lost all my ear things, so I'll take those off real quick. California is, it is what it is. It's wonderful. It's sunny. It's, we're slowly starting to open stuff up, which is good. It's just taking a little time,
Good.
but the sun's out, so hopefully we'll get back to a little bit of normalcy. And, after I'm done with you guys, it's such a nice day. I'm going to get on the Harley with the wife and go take a ride down to the beach.
Nice.
So
nice. That sounds like a good day to me. Sounds like a good day. So a lot of people have asked me this and I don't know the answer. How'd you get the nickname Big Schwag?
Well, so most of my life I've been doing security, or I was a bouncer, and I used to work at a nightclub, a little bar in Hollywood called Smalls. And I had an Australian buddy who, my last name's Wagner, so he used to call me Schwagner. And then at 30 years old, I decided I was, sometimes we have midlife crises, and I've always been one of those guys that tries to do everything in life, to at least give it a shot. And I decided I wanted to get into pro wrestling. And when I got in there, I didn't know what to call myself, so I decided to call myself the Big Schwag. So,
There you go.
And then the rest is history. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I forgot to mention that you were in professional wrestling for a while.
Yeah, I did. I worked for the minor leagues for the WWF for many years. It was called Ultimate Pro Wrestling, and out in Huntington Beach, California. We, I got to work with guys, and we, helped start guys like John Cena and Samoa Joe, and a lot of other guys that have been through the ranks. And Samoa Joe and John Cena, obviously the two biggest guys that have been in the business and are still,
Hmm.
still there. I mean, I don't know how their bodies are holding up. So, but
Yeah,
they
I mean,
are. So it's pretty amazing.
and you can attest to that. I mean, it's not you get beat up.
You get
I
beat
mean,
up
it's
bad.
not. Yeah, yeah. These guys are getting abused up there. They really throw themselves on the line every day. So a lot of people don't
They
realize that. Yeah, it's entertainment, but they still get beat up bad.
Yeah, it's the most physical
Mm,
entertainment there is. That's
mm,
besides football. But you can take an athlete, any kind of athlete, runners. You can take a football player, basketball player, put them in a wrestling ring, and what we call getting blowed up. You're doing a 5-minute match is tough enough, let
mm-hmm,
alone doing a 30-minute match. Or back in the days when Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, were going against
mm-hmm.
each other. These guys would do a 60-minute match. They were the headline, right? So if you got 20,000 people packed into a stadium, and they're doing 60 minutes. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So
Yeah, they're athletes. They really are. They're athletes.
100%.
Yeah,
Even the fat
yeah. So
guys,
let.
even the fat guys are athletes. You look at them and you go, that guy's 350 pounds. Doesn't matter, man. They're still in there
I,
doing a 10 to, most matches now are like 10 minutes, right? A 10-minute match is
mm,
actually a long time. And you can see how these guys are sucking wind at the end of the
yeah,
deal. But there you go. I transgress.
yeah. So let's get into let's talk about like I said before in the beginning of the show that you've been hosting Sparky's Rockabilly Roundup for about 4 or 5 years now. I kind of lost track, quite honestly. But that's like a
Yeah,
party
I
within a
think we're
party down there.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of the Syracuse Nationals, right? I mean, you can how many acres are we there at the Syracuse?
365 acres.
So 365 acres, and almost every acre is used for something. So you have all these
Hmm.
different shows in a show. It's not just you hear about the Syracuse Nationals, you think 9, 10,000 cars. I think that's the right estimate I'm given. And you go, wow, that's a lot of cars, but it's individual shows in there. And Sparky's Old School Roundup, um, is one of those things where it's like it's awesome because people love the hot rods, people love this and that, but they love rat rods. They love
Yeah.
being able to work on a budget, and we really showcase over there. And Sparky's whole thing was to showcase what you could do with not a lot of money and something that's very rusty. And I think the show
Hmm.
speaks for itself. It's one of the best in the country. I do a lot of shows. There's the man himself right there. God
Hmm.
bless him. That was his whole life, man. I mean, he loved that guy would travel around. Sparky would travel around to all the other shows, all the car shows, all the kind of the old school rat rod shows and everything else. And he brought his flavor and his years of experience to the Syracuse Nationals, and it's a hell of a show, man. Some of the great builders that you might never ever see or hear about that do rat rods and do the old school style cars come there just to showcase their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great shot right there. Yeah. I mean,
Gene
and that's
Winfield,
that's
come on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, talk about legends right there. Artie Schilling, he's right there. There's of course my
Yeah,
dad right there. Danny Mattin's
yeah.
right there. Sparky. So yeah, so that I mean, like you said, the Sparky's Old School Rockabilly Roundup. It's a show within a show, and I tell you, Sparky, God bless him, he was the best ambassador for old school rat rod cars. He just everywhere he went, he was just that's all he was about, and it was amazing, and everybody loved him. Everybody
Well,
said, "Oh,
and a lot,
Sparky,
yeah.
Sparky."
I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. They're very old school, and they're like, well, I like my Mercuries, I like my chopped, but they got to have paint on them. But
Hmm.
Sparky was a little different. He goes, hey, look at man, this is also part of car culture, in which it is.
Right.
And to your guys' credit, your dad and yourself, to be able to showcase that is awesome because a lot of people. I've worked for a lot of companies. I worked for a company that does waxes, let's say, and they weren't big
Hmm.
on that old school the rat rod
Yeah.
because you don't need a wax to
Right.
to do on a rat rod. It's just not part of
Right.
the thing, and you can't make any money on it.
Hmm.
However, it's a big culture, man. It's just as much a part of car culture as anything else in the business. So it's one of the few places that where you have a giant, like your car show is one of the biggest car shows in the world. And like I said, we
Mhm.
9 to 10,000 cars there, and then you have this other segment right there where people can come over and say, "Wow." So that's one of the cool things about the Syracuse Nationals, being able to walk around and see the different stuff and different car culture and different cars that you
Mhm.
guys represent there.
Yeah, yeah, and that was my dad's vision right from the very beginning with the Syracuse Nationals, not to exclude anybody. It's all one big happy car hobby family. So let's incorporate as many of those people as we can and have a good time bringing them together. If you don't like the old school area, you don't have to go down there. You can enjoy the rest of the show. But yeah, and Sparky had some great ideas too. It was his idea. You can see the three cars here covered
Yep.
up. We got old. Sparky wanted old military parachutes to have that vintage look. So we went out and found some vintage parachutes, covered the car. So this is the old school rockabilly roundup build off. So these guys every year they built cars under a $5,000 budget. They had to build it themselves, and they had to unveil them at the Syracuse National. So that was really cool. It was a nice new element. And Sparky always brought new ideas and fun. And there's Sparky's car right there. Um, Always brought fun ideas and tons of energy to that area. So we felt it was only fitting to rename the whole area in Sparky's name and continue on and do the best we can to remember him with that event every year. So let's get into. Oh, we lose you, Brett. I think we might have lost him. So while we're waiting to connect with Brett again, let's just remind everybody if you want to comment in the comment section, we're running a contest to win a free T-shirt. We'll send it out to you. Comment Big Schwag. Comment Big Schwag in the comment section, and we'll randomly pick somebody at the end of the broadcast, and we will send you out a T-shirt. Also, we have Monopoly, Syracuse. Whoop, let me get in the screen. We have Syracuse Monopoly game, custom, with the 32 Ford as one of the pieces. All right, we got you back, Brett. I was
I'm
just
here.
on a
Can you
commercial
can hear
break.
me again, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
all
We're
right.
just
Hey,
on a
so,
little.
so um,
Go ahead.
some of the cool stuff, over especially. Let's get back to Sparky's deal for a second. We have one of the biggest. I've emceed a lot of bikini contests. I've emceed a lot of biker events where we have ladies up on stage, but we have one of the coolest pinup shows ever.
Yeah.
The old school roundup pinup contest, and it's classy because this is a fan. In fact, there's some pictures right there. So you have,
Yep.
I mean, it's one year we had 45 girls up there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the toughest contests to do because you have so much, and they're dressing the part like it's the 50s, and the
Mm-hmm.
40s and the 50s, and it's so fun and it's so competitive, but
Yep.
it's still one of the biggest contests I've ever emceed in my life with that many. And there's a good picture, good
Yeah.
example of what
It,
goes on there. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it draws a huge crowd every year. We get a lot of people ask us. That's probably one of my most common asked questions is when is the pinup contest on Saturday? So it's Sparky grew that himself. He just went out and talked to people, and literally just talk to girls he see dressed up at other shows. Say, hey, why don't you come and try the Syracuse Nationals? And it just blew up. It was crazy. And again, it was all because of Sparky's energy.
Yes. And
So
like I said, we're doing our fifth year. I'll be there. Uh, God willing, this year, and we're gonna kick some butt again, and it's gonna be awesome. And so I would suggest that you folks, you know, keep abreast of the situation and follow Rob and everybody else here, so we can tell you, especially when we get the Syracuse Nationals going again this year. So
yeah, man, for sure. So let's talk about some of the TV shows you've been on, in particular, because to keep it kind of car related, Pastime. That was a big show. That was a big hit on Speed Channel for quite a few years. How many seasons did you run?
we really ran about seven years, 6.5 years. I did 160 episodes. Yeah, that
Wow.
was a hell of a fun time to do. We would do 11 episodes in 2 days. So that's
Really?
a lot of stuff to be doing at a track. Yeah, 11 episodes. That
Yeah.
means I got to have 11 cars per episode, and you got to make sure you have backup cars. So the tracks would put a little feeler out and say, "Hey, we're going to be filming episodes of Pastime," and
Hmm.
then that Thursday or Friday morning, one of our producers will walk around and start picking out cars for the shows and putting them in, And it was a lot of work, but for me, the first episode would take about an hour and 30 minutes, and then once I got into a flow, I could do them in about 50 minutes to an hour, as long as we had no oil downs. But it was awesome. I loved
Yeah.
drag racing at that point. So when I got that show, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I knew a little bit about drag racing. I didn't let on that I knew so much about drag racing, but that wasn't my part of the show. It was just to host it and guide the folks through and get
Yep.
people up there. And it was number one rated show on Speed Channel for 6 of those 7 years. And
Right.
right, it was fun. I learned, I really loved that drag racing community. And it's funny
Hmm.
because I mean, up until that point, I've never really drag raced, and I still, even when the show went off the air, it took about 2 years. But then I started racing up in Canada, top dragster. Uh,
Right.
my
I
buddy
saw
Glenn
that.
Novakowski had a couple dragsters, and he's like, "Hey, you want to race for me?" I'm like, "I can't. I don't know how to go 200 miles an hour." He's like, "I'll teach you." So
Just
went to the
mash the pedal, man. That's all
Frank
you got.
Hawley. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Smash it. It seems that easy. It sounds that
It's
easy,
not.
but
It's not. Yeah.
no, but they got to listen. A dragster is a lot different than a door car, so
Hmm.
it is a little bit easier to control. But I mean, I went 196 miles an hour in the quarter mile, low seven
That's
seconds, and
moving.
that it's yeah, at 300 pounds, you're kind of like wow. And once you get in those roll cages, once you're in there. I mean, there's not it takes a couple of guys to get me out.
Yeah. You,
So,
you can't be
but
claustrophobic getting into that.
no, you can't move. You're restricted, and you have stuff on your arms, so you there's not a lot of movement. And me being as
Right.
big as I am, there's not a lot of movement. But the good thing about that show is we showcase the common blue collar guy that would, works 40, 50 hours a week, and then at night will go outside and tinker with his race car, his drag car, and then would go
Sure.
out on the weekends. And sure, we had some big timers on the show, but 99% of
Hmm.
it was all that blue collar drag racer, and it was a fun
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got
Cool guy. I imagine you met some really cool people doing that too, the car owners and stuff, right?
oh yeah, and to this day, still a lot of my friends on Facebook and other social media sites, and I still make appearances. In fact, going to Tennessee. In fact, I'll find that in a second here. I should probably plug that. I'll be in Tennessee next month
Hmm.
at a show doing a drag race. So Tennessee is one of those states that opened up pretty quickly. So good stuff. And yeah, I still travel around a lot, going to as much as I can, going to the drag strips around the country and emceeing and getting up in the box and doing stuff like that. So it was very blessed. A show that could come back, drag racing, and we're not talking like and I don't mind the guys, but the street outlaws, but
Hmm.
in fact, a couple of my buddies, Farm Truck and Asian, there are great guys.
Oh, they're good guys.
Um,
I met them once before. They're really
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah, great guys, awesome dudes, fun, salt of the earth. We've done a couple of shows together, and um,
Hmm.
I'd rather you race on the track where it's a little safer.
Sure.
But those guys
Yeah.
are professional, know what they're doing. But drag racing is making a big comeback again as far as TV. So you're probably going to see a lot of stuff once some of the states reopen and we get going again with filming.
Hmm.
And you never know. I mean, Pastime was an easy show to shoot, and so I would think that we might be able to get that back on the air. I hope.
That'd be cool. I
All
think
right,
it's
so
time.
here
I
it
mean,
is.
it's
Yeah,
what?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll be
No.
at Mid-South Dragway, Dyersburg, Tennessee, June 19th through the 20th.
All right, cool, awesome. Yep. We can put that actually on the comments below this when we're done with the
Cool.
podcast, so people can have a link right to it.
Yeah.
No problem. So let's get into some other stuff you've done. So you've done a bunch of TV stuff. You were on NCIS. Explain
Yes.
what you did there. That's a huge show.
So NCIS Los Angeles. That's a great show, man. I was with what's his name, Robin from Batman and Robin. That's his show.
Yeah. What's his name?
I guess
Chris something. Oh, we should know that.
It's gonna kill me. I should know this. LL Cool J's on that show. I didn't have a scene with him, but
yeah.
But yeah, I play a truck driver who saves the day. I get a little angry at some Chris O'Donnell. So Chris O'Donnell has a guy that's a terrorist, and he's got him handcuffed, trying to get out there, and he's starting to make a lot of noise, trying to stall time, and we come in and save the day. But shows like that are fun. I love the NCIS, all the series they do, and I got very lucky. Being an actor in Hollywood or in Los Angeles is tough because there's every bouncer, every ex-professional wrestler, every athlete, and then all the regular big redneck actors like myself. They're all trying to get for one little part, And,
yeah,
it's
that's
a grind,
competitive,
but
man.
I've been doing it for 20 years. It's competitive. It's it's tough, but hey, listen.
Yeah.
That's why you do everything. That's why if you're going to be in Los Angeles, unless you're very lucky, you got to get some breaks. You got to know somebody. I mean, people, you got to know. Yeah, you do got to know somebody. It helps. It helps. You could have all the talent in the world, but it's nice to have an uncle who works at Paramount Pictures or Universal.
Right.
But yeah, it's very competitive, and I've been doing it over 20 years. So, Sons of Anarchy, one of my favorite shows I ever did. I'm a biker, right? So I was excited the first season, the third episode, on something. It was a tiny part, but in retrospect, you go, you should have had your agent say no for you, but you don't know how big. There you go. You don't know how big the show's gonna be when it first started, right? You're like, there's a show called Sons of Anarchy. Who knew it was gonna blow up to be one of the big shows?
Massive.
In the last 10 years, massive. So sometimes an actor, if he's in the position, will say, no, I want to wait for something bigger or better. But you don't know, and it's all of a sudden it's a nice payday, and you're making $3,500 for a couple of days. You go, whoa, yeah, I'll take that money. So,
right.
Love doing it. Got to ride my own bike to the set. I'm still known for that part. For some reason, they thought I did something bad at a carnival, and I was just in Bible school is what I was. But great to get work with Ron Perlman and all those guys.
He filmed he filmed a biker movie here in Syracuse. I forgot what it was called.
Ron Perlman he's a great actor. Syracuse is a great place to film. I mean, you got 4 different seasons up there, right? I mean, it's what a beautiful place. I wish I shouldn't be touching my face like that.
That's right. You're home. It's fine. That's right.
I'm home. Yeah, good. You get to work with actors sometimes, and I'm a fan of. I got into the business of acting because I was a fan watching, horror movies as a kid. So that was my big deal, and I'm a big fan of Ron Perlman's. My first movie I ever did was called Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. I was a huge fan of Robin Williams. And it's so sometimes you're like, wow, this is pretty surreal that you're working with these guys. Right. And when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh. Now I'm just like, I did a movie called El Tonto about a year ago, and hopefully it'll come out soon. Whether it's going to be on, it shouldn't be. They should wait to put it in the movie theaters. But with John Malkovich and Ray Liotta and Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, and Charlie Day from Everything Sunny in Philadelphia. So I got to be.
He's funny, man. He's great.
Charlie's great. He directed it. It's his movie.
Really?
He's the star of it. But I play Malkovich's like bodyguard limo driver, and just to get to watch John Malkovich in kind of a serious, funny role. You know, it's comedy. He's
Right.
playing this kind of serious guy though, but you're just going, wow, how come I can't be like that? You know, you're just like, what an actor. And so it's stuff like
Yeah.
that is great. And he with pro wrestling, I was a fan of pro wrestling, so I got to work with Triple H, and I got to work with the Road Warriors, who I was a big fan of when I was a kid. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a fanboy, as we call it. So when I get a good acting gig and I get to work,
Who do you? So that's a good question. Who would you like fanboy out to if you met somebody? I mean, you've been around a lot of different people, but who would you like
man,
kind of become like a giddy little girl if you met them?
gosh, that's a tough question. You know, I was a big fan of John Force. I got to meet John Force a couple times and BS with him,
Yeah.
so that one's done. I mean, I would love to work with like a De Niro, you know, or
Yeah.
Al Pacino. Those would be two guys I would love to really work with. And
Mm-hmm.
then before that, you know, would have been if I could have met a Steve McQueen or a Charlton
Oh.
Heston or something like that, that would have been
Oh
pretty.
man. You're going deep
That would
on
have been
those, dude. Those are
well,
the freaking
you
A-list
know.
rock stars, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies is On the Waterfront. So
Mm-hmm.
just I like the old stuff. They don't make movies like they used to in the 70s, you know. The 70s, the
Yeah.
50s, 60s and 70s, the heyday of real big acting movies, and it's very tough. I think I like I'd like to work with Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was one of my favorite movies I've watched in many many years.
yeah.
So
That was a good movie for sure.
yeah,
So I want to say hi to a
and
few
we became
people
friends
that
with the
are.
dog.
Who did?
I did. So the dog in the movie, the pit bull Brandy, that's Brad Pitt's
Right.
dog. We're very good friends. We're very good friends with those folks. They're Delaware pit bulls out of Delaware. Matt and
Ah.
Monique Kozlowski. The dog is named Sayuri. The dog stole the show. I mean, that dog even won an award in France that Quentin flew over to pick up. So
Uh-huh.
I like working with animals. Working
Yeah.
with animals on a movie set's very fun. So
Nice. Nice. That's cool. Want to say hi to a few people that are watching. Mike LaFleur. Um, let's see here. Who else? We got Lacey Leonardi. Oh, my niece Erica joined. What's up, Erica? Mike Santorum. What's up, Uncle Mike? John Derby. So Mike LaFleur asked me to ask you, do you enjoy being part of the Syracuse Nationals? Oh, might have lost him again. Did we lose him again? Could be. We'll get him back in a minute. Let's see here. Oh, we got a lot of people entering the contest. Again, enter the contest for a T-shirt or a Syracuse Monopoly game. Just comment Big Schwag. We'll enter your name. We'll announce it at the end of the show. Let's see what we got here. If you want to comment where you're watching from, that's cool. It's always fun to hear where people are watching from. We get a lot of Canadians that watch us. Murray Paff, what's up, Murray? Alan Bixby, what's up? So we get a lot of people from all over the country that watch us. So that's really cool. A lot of Canadians. Let's see who we got here. And as far as the Syracuse Nationals, we're still paying attention to what the governor is saying and the county executive. So we're optimistically guarded, and we'll keep everybody posted as soon as we hear something. We should know fairly soon, I would imagine. But just stay tuned and on our Facebook page and our website, and we'll keep everybody up to date as soon as we know information. But for right now, we're doing this to stay in touch with everybody. We miss everybody, and we want to see everybody. Let's see here. Let's see here. Krogan, New York. Gordon Baxter from Krogan, New York. I'm not sure where that is, actually. Let's see here. Deborah Lynn Gift, thank you for entering. Let's see what we got here.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we got you.
Okay. I went back. I went to the
gotcha.
phone. I don't know what happened with my computer, but as long
That's
as
all
we're
right.
good and you can hear me, we'll stick with the phone.
Yeah. We got you. We got you. So let's talk. We talked about NCIS. We talked about Sons of Anarchy. Let's talk about Snoop Dogg's Joker's Wild game show, right?
Yeah, man, did I get lucky? So sometimes,
There we go.
sometimes you will audition for stuff, and there was a thing on a casting call that said, "Hey, um, audition for this game show." Then they don't tell you what it is, so I'm like, okay, go. So you Skype like we're kind of doing right now. We'll talk with the producers. They'll ask you, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm a drag racer. I do a lot of voiceovers for some companies. I try to get some acting work. And they said, okay. I answered some pop questions about what's going on in society and cultist music and this and that. And then they said that was great. And then all I knew a month later, they said, all right, we'd like you to come on and be on Snoop Dogg's new game show, Joker's Wild, that he's hosting. And I was like, oh man. So then you get on the show, Brett Wagner from the San Fernando Valley, and I won $52,000, which
Come
was
on.
enormous and very exciting. And
52 grand?
52
Were you like
large, man. I was like, wow.
That's a payday right there, man. So like were you like the big winner of the day? Is that what it was?
Well, I mean, they shoot a bunch of shows during one day, so I don't know who else
Right.
won, but I was the first. So when you come in on a game show, they'll bring maybe there's 10 to 12 people for shows there, right? They're going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 people per show,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to be on there, and then they say, okay, let's go with the drag racer and the college girl first. And I was like, oh gosh, we'll get this out of the way. I'm either going to win or I'll lose, but I don't have to stick around all day, which is great.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky. I won. I
Mm-hmm.
was like tickled pink. You can't talk about it. So if you talk about it, you're in deep trouble, right? I mean, they could sue you for everything.
Oh,
So you can't give
before
away, can't
it
talk about it,
shows.
can't say nothing.
Right.
And I got very lucky. And they don't take taxes. They just so they're supposed to pay you up to like a couple months after the show airs. The show aired like 2 months later, and like a week later, someone said, "You got a." I mean, I called my mailbox place. They're like, "You got some letter here from Joker's Wild," and I'm like, "Open it up for me, would you?" And the guy goes, "Okay," and then he goes, "Oh my gosh, you have a check for $52,000," and I was like, "What?" I didn't, you don't believe that stuff until I don't
Right.
believe that. I was like, I was on a show. It was fun. I got to hang out with Snoop Dogg.
Right.
That's all I knew. I didn't believe, you have to, when the check's in the mail, as they say.
Right.
But
Right.
it happened, So very blessed. That year I had to, I paid a lot of money in taxes that year, but still, it was worth it. We took a night, I
Yeah.
put some money into my Harley. I bought some of the wife, and the rest
Nice.
went in to pay taxes.
There you go. Yeah, you can't forget about the taxes. They don't forget about you, that's for sure.
No,
That's
not at all.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you actually won $52,000 on the show. That was part of your prize?
That was it, man. Yeah, you go through the game. It was on TBS, I believe. TNT, TBS, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And answer questions, you win a little bit of money. So I won like $2,000 up until that point, and then you get to where you got to spin the big, slot machine, as we call it, and hope you don't get a joker in there, or you don't get a
Right.
whammy, a devil. And
Yeah.
I got up to the point where he was like, all right, I will offer you, and it was like 16 grand. He's like, give you 16 grand to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like one more spin left. And if I would have, you have to get 10 grand. If you get 10 grand, you win the 50.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, 16 grand would pay a lot of bills, do something nice for the wife, put some money into the Harley, pay the rent for a couple. Like, I'm here, right? So you go for it. So I went to the wheel, and all of a sudden, I didn't hear any, oh, and I heard Snoop Dogg was like, you won! You won! And I was like, what? And then confetti started coming down, and the crowd's going crazy. And I'm like,
Oh, you
no
got
way.
you got the confetti treatment and everything.
I got a little confetti. And I didn't believe it. I still didn't believe it. I thought, wow, this is just
Right.
an elaborate acting gig and everything else. But
Right.
now, I want to be on other game shows. Now it's
Yeah,
like,
right. I
wow,
was
you
gonna
win
say,
once.
yeah, you got the itch now,
You
right?
want to keep going. So
Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of the game shows are filmed out that way. So I mean, you got your
yeah,
choice of
tons.
shows.
I am up for a couple. I can't talk about them, but we'll see.
All right, that's all
It's
right.
tough
Yeah,
when you're on
I tell you,
TV. So you're on TV. So people go, oh, what's you doing on a game show? I'm like, hey, listen, I auditioned, so you can do the same thing. I remember some guy was like,
right,
that's a drag racer guy on TV. What's he doing? I'm like, well, dude, you go,
right. Yeah,
go
you go
audition for
audition
God's
too.
sakes.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, there's two game shows I'd never be able to do is Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. I I try to play along with them. Jeopardy, I do okay. Wheel of Fortune, nope, can't do it. I cannot put those words together at all.
Out of my league for sure.
Yeah, that's way too smart for me, man. I'm not that smart. Um, so let's talk about
Hold on.
your spokesman for a few companies, in particular, Bad Boy Mowers. Those are cool mowers,
17
man.
years. 17
Yeah.
years. I've been lucky enough.
So you've been with them right from the very beginning, almost, right?
Well, almost. Yeah, they had been around about 3 years, and then I got lucky enough. We were doing Monster Garage, the tail end of Monster Garage. I think we had a couple more years left, and I kept going up to this small town, Batesville, Arkansas, to make an appearance at a small car show. And I said, I really love the town. It's a little town up in northeast Arkansas, about an hour and a half from Little Rock. And I said, how can you make a living in this town? And the guy said, well, it's either the church, if you go into the church business, and this is a dry county, by the way, too. So no alcohol. And or you can, there's a new lawnmower company called Bad Boy Mowers. And I was like, man,
right.
Bad Boy Mowers. I'm a spokesman for the bad boy on the West Coast, Jesse James on his TV show. So I kept bugging these guys. I found out who the owners were. And anytime I was on TV or in a magazine, I'd send them an article. And finally, like a year later, the Phil Pulley, who's the owner of Bad Boy Mowers, said, what do you want, Schwag? Stop bugging me. What do you want? I said, well, you're going to run commercials, right? You're going to do stuff like that. So let me be the voice of your commercials. Let me,
Right.
And so we started 17 years ago, and I'm blessed. I got a couple more years under contract with them, and the company has grown. It's the fastest growing zero turn mower on the planet. And good company, man. Put in a lot of people to work in Arkansas, and
good. Yeah,
I think
good.
about
Good
400.
American success story, right? Good American success story.
Yes, made in America. Yep.
That's great. That's awesome. That's perfect. So if anybody's in the market for a new mower, definitely check them out. Made in America.
Badboymowers.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We need more of that type of stuff. So support American. That'd be awesome. Let's see here. We got some more people that joined us. Tony Gianchetti. What's up, Tony? Kevin Craw. What's up, Kev? Dawn. Hi, Dawn. How are you? So we got a bunch more people entering the contest. Don't forget to enter the contest to win a T-shirt or a Syracuse Monopoly game by commenting Big Schwag. We'll announce the winners at the end of the podcast. So let's keep going. Let's keep rolling, man. You're an interesting dude, man. You got a lot going on. So now let's talk about your next big project, Monster Garage.
Yeah, man. So let's tell you how that all came about. Let's start from the beginning. So Monster Garage.
Let me stop you. I want to just say the original Monster Garages, I watched those religiously. They were awesome. Jesse James, Body Drop. I mean, you were on the show once in a while too, but obviously you did the voiceover for every episode. It was one of the coolest shows, and it really, I think, brought to the forefront that it's okay to work with your hands. It's okay to
Yeah.
do to be good with your hands and manufacture things and be good at that sort of thing. It's not you're not some a college dropout that couldn't find anything else to do. Jesse really wants to do that sort of stuff, and he's been a great spokesman for that sort of for the trades and that sort of thing as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there first. It was a great show. I
Yeah.
watched it religiously. So
One of your good friends and one of the very big families that are associated with the Syracuse Nationals was on an
mm-hmm.
episode of Monster Garage, and I never knew who the guy was until I
Yeah,
watched that episode of the Tucci's. So,
yeah,
we'll talk about that in a second. But so I was doing the pro wrestling deal. I did a documentary for Discovery Channel called Wrestling School, and the
mm-hmm.
producer Tom Beers, who
Yep.
produced Ice Road Truckers, Deadliest Catch, Storage Wars, Monster Garage. He came to me and said, "Hey, could you do your wrestling voice for this new show I'm going to do called Monster Garage?" And I was like, "Man, does it pay? Do I get to, hey, can I meet women off of it?" I was single. I'm like, "All right, yeah, let's do it." And we started doing this thing, and I had no idea how big a show it would be. But yeah, it blew up right away. Jesse has that, charismatic bad boy kind of image, and people
mm-hmm.
just it sucked you in. Now, if he wouldn't have been able to do like what you said, if he wouldn't have been able to actually, if he wasn't a good fabricator and he
Mm-hmm.
really didn't care about this, the show probably would have been off in a season. But I think
Right.
we did about 5 to 6 seasons, 89 episodes, 90 episodes. We got to showcase some of the best fabricators ever.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the old school, some of the builds we did, the old school builds with all the guys that most of them are not with us anymore. The Bill Hines and some of these guys. I think Gene Winfield was on the show. He's one of the last guys that we did on our old school builds.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a
Indian
very
Joe.
iconic show, because after that show, all of a sudden there was Orange County Choppers.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these guys that have these copycat shows. But hey, listen, it's all good, and we've had a 14-year hiatus,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Jesse
14
had some
years.
unfinished business. 14 years, yeah, we haven't
Wow.
done an episode.
Wow. Jeez.
So Jesse had unfinished business, wanted to do more stuff. He had some ideas in his head for about 30 episodes, I think, and got with
Mm-hmm.
Discovery Channel and Original Productions, our old production company, and they hashed
Mm-hmm.
it out. And he texted me. He said, "I want you to be a part of it again." And I was like, "Man, I'm excited." They
Yeah.
got one full episode shot of the new series.
Mm-hmm.
It's shortened. There's a little bit more pressure now. They only have 5 days to build, so it's gonna put a lot more pressure on the builders. But then again, the builders and all the fabricators now, they're. I think, Jesse, we just did a special quarantine edition where we watched an old episode and we all riffed on it, because we're all from
Right.
I did it from my sound place where I do my work, and Jesse did it from his garage, and Body Drop did it from his garage, and we
Mm-hmm.
show sneak peeks of the new episode and what's going on in the new garage. And I think
Yep.
it's gonna be huge. I think the builds are
I,
bigger and badder, as Jesse says, and more dangerous. So he likes the danger. I
yeah.
mean,
Who
you got to
doesn't?
have a little
I mean, come
danger.
on. Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge as well. I agree with you 100%. I mean, Jesse just brings, the energy and the enthusiasm for fabricating and building, and he's not afraid to try anything. So I think that's awesome. And and he's diversified. He does knives, he does firearms.
yeah.
He does a lot of different stuff.
Those
He's
guys.
yeah,
So he's a guy like me, and he's a guy like you too. We're all creative people. You're a very creative guy. I think you got it from your parents, but um, it's like you can't settle. If you settle for, it'd be so boring doing one thing, right? We all like to do a
right.
lot of different stuff. I know you guys promote so many different things in the Syracuse area, and
Hmm.
I try to do everything I can, in entertainment wise, as well as you. And Jesse tries to do other stuff that he works with his hands, from making the knives
Right.
to the guns, which are amazing,
They're
to
they're
building
works of
bikes, to
art.
building, yeah, works of art. So it's like, if you get and listen, I wish I had those skills. I'm a BSer. That's what I do for a
Hmm.
living. But if I had the skills to build, man, gosh, it would be. I wish
Right.
as a
I
kid I
wish.
would have taken, would have learned a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, he's amazing. He's an amazing builder and a great guy. And then you touched on earlier, Dave and Dom Tucci, or I'm sorry, Dave Tucci. He was on the episode where they built the hot dog cart dragster, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, there
Yeah,
it is right there.
New York, man.
Yep.
They were running
Yep.
that thing through the streets in New York.
Yeah, they were on David Letterman with it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. They shut down the street. No one shuts down the streets of New York except COVID and Monster
Yeah.
Garage.
You're right. That's it.
But yeah, and Dave, my gosh, is he's now thought upon as one of the best fabricators in the car business today. At a
He's one of the
young
best
age,
in
he's
the.
still a young man, man. It's
Yeah. Yep.
and one of
Yep.
the
And his
most
son.
gracious guys there is out there. One of the just can't tell. There's a lot of builders out there, and there's a lot of builders that get on TV and their real personalities show up, and they're not very nice people, and then you get the Tucci's who, even his son, for God's sakes, is a
Oh yeah.
great fabricator and builder.
Hmm.
You get these guys who are just the salt of the earth and are very humble, and they build some of the most badass cars that are out there. Wow, he could have his
Yeah.
own show. I mean, I wish somebody would.
Oh yeah.
Someone should give him his own show.
Without a doubt. Yeah. He's without exaggeration. They're there, right there. And Rob Ida on the right hand side there. Dom,
Yep,
Dave, and Rob Ida. I mean, three of the most prolific builders in the country today. I mean, there's a lot of other very talented people, but these guys,
sure.
they come to the nationals all the time. And Dave and Dom, we've known them for over 20 years now. So it's just a great group of people. And I think that's why the car hobby is so good, because there's so many cool people in the car hobby, just good, salt of the earth Americans, just want to have a good time with their cars and want to be around other people that want to have a good time with their cars too. So there's their
I
setup
mean,
at
I
the Syracuse
wish,
Nationals.
I wish I could afford a Tucci hot rod. Believe me. I mean, even if he gave me a discount, I might
Right.
have to work on it. Maybe on my tenth year doing the Syracuse Nationals, he could surprise me with a 10-year car or something. Hint, hint.
It's like
Yeah,
instead of a gold watch, we just give you a car.
yeah. Who needs it? Look, I love my watches. Red Monkey leather, Red Monkey designs. I love it. I've been wearing this stuff for 20 years. But now a nice rat rod, a nice or one of just a Tucci design
I'll put
would
an
go a
order in
long
for you.
way.
I'll put in an order
Thank you,
for you.
man.
See what we can do for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So we got some more people checking in. We got Sharon O'Neill, Terry Brown, Dave Young. Dave Young said he loved the VW episode of Monster Garage. That was one of my favorites as well, for sure. So yeah. So and now, okay, let's talk about some of the movies. You were in some zombie movies. I see a poster right behind you there. Was that a movie
Yeah,
you
that's
were in?
Fulci. I wish I was in that movie. That's Fulci's Zombie. That's a very famous. I started acting. Oh, there you go. That's a Starling gear. I'm not wearing the rings, but that's my ring maker right there on my
Oh, okay.
back, cutting my head off. And he did a zombie ring for the Japan market, so we did a little thing like that. I started acting because I was a big fan of the horror movies growing up. Romero's
Right.
Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, all the Universal horror stuff, the Frankenstein, Invisible
Mm-hmm.
Man, stuff like that. So I knew I wanted to be a guy under makeup and a creature and a monster, and
Mm-hmm.
when I got to be 21 years old, I started, delving into acting classes and trying to get, I had an agent right away because I was a big guy and didn't really get to do any kind of horror stuff until I was like 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started getting some good roles. And I love, not many people will go under the makeup because it takes a long time, man. There you go, The
Yeah.
Crazies.
Yeah, that was a pretty
2010.
big film. Yeah.
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant, Justified, and Santa
Yep.
Clarita
Yep.
Diet, and Deadwood. That's 3 hours of makeup right there just to put on, and then it's an
Jesus.
hour to take off. And then weeks later,
Wow.
you're still fine. You'll be like, oh, got find stuff that's in the crooks and crevices of your head.
Right. Right.
Good stuff, man. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I
That's
got to be
cool.
lucky enough to play Leatherface in the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I
Really?
have the first kill in the movie, and then I got hurt, heat
Oh.
stroke, and yeah.
Ah.
But it is what it
You
is.
were
I
in
got
it?
to say, at least I'm known as the Lost Leatherface. So
The elusive
yes, the elusive.
Leatherface. That's awesome. Well, we got a lot of people that have entered in the contest. Gavin is going to start. Let's see. What's this? Yeah, I can't see the comments for the. So okay, so we're gonna. Gavin's gonna grab some of the names. You can do that, right? Yep. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna start wrapping things up a little bit, Brett. We'll let you get going. I know you want to go on a bike ride with the missus, so we'll get you down to the beach so you can enjoy the nice
Thank you,
weather out
buddy.
in California.
Yes.
So let's see here, Gav. Who do we have for the T-shirt? Who do we have?
T-shirt. Michael LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur, you've won a Syracuse Nationals T-shirt. Send us a Facebook message with your address and everything. We'll get it out to you. And we got the Monopoly game. Let's see here. I'll
From the
show everybody
famous LaFleur family.
here. That's it. So we have the Syracuse Monopoly game, and the car token in this is actually our 32 Ford Roadster. So this is really cool, and it has all the different locations and businesses around Syracuse. So it's kind of a unique thing. They only made a limited edition of these. So we'll send these out to who we send it to, Jeff?
Jeff Gilbert.
Jeff Gilbert. Jeff Gilbert.
Wow.
Congratulations, Jeff. All right, from the famous Gilbert family here in Syracuse.
The Gilberts.
Yeah.
Hot stuff. Eddie Gilbert, very famous ex-pro wrestler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just threw that out there. He was a wrestler. I don't know if they're related or not.
So let's talk about real quick. What are your future plans? I know we talked about your auditioning and things like that. You have Monster Garage coming up.
Monster
That's
Garage
a
is
big
coming
deal.
back. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal, huge deal. So that'll be coming
that'll
back.
be on
That's
on
Discovery.
Discovery. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say it's going to be on Monday nights again. I don't know yet.
Okay.
Our quarantine in the garage special should probably be out mid-June, and then, as I said, we already got one episode in the can filmed for the new series. It just
Mm-hmm.
they shut down Texas, so I would believe that that's gonna. I would think that in late June, July, we'll start seeing this series on TV. That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to sell some other. I got a show in the works for the dogs, Brandy and from the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Delaware Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get a show on them because, the
Good.
pit bull is the new Lassie. That's the bottom line. Every movie you
Yeah.
see, it's not like it used to be. People were afraid of this breed. They
Right.
shouldn't be. It's one
Mm-hmm.
of the best breeds out there, and I think that we're going to showcase that. And hey, listen,
Good.
I just try to do what we can and
Yep.
try to
So
sell stuff and try to.
yeah. So if somebody wants to find out more information about you and how to contact you, if they want to book you or do
Yeah.
voiceovers or things like that, where can they go?
Wow, right there. The guy had it, brettwagner.org. We do got I finally, after 15 years, got the big schwag.com, but I haven't set that up yet. But
Mm-hmm.
brettwagner.org, Brett Wagner on Facebook, The Big Schwag on Instagram. You can get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very easy to get a hold of. And yeah, I can add a little pizzazz and a little spice to your event. It doesn't really matter what it is, car related,
100%.
Doesn't matter what it is. Been lucky enough to, I think, coming into my 5th year with you guys and the Syracuse Nationals. So of course I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's good stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I got to tell you, just to throw it out there, I got to tell everybody, Brett's one of the coolest, easiest guys to work with. We've worked with a lot of people throughout the years of the Syracuse Nationals. Some have been not so good to deal with, Brett's one of the best. That's why he's back year after year after year. He brings excitement,
Thank you,
energy,
man.
and a lot of fun
Hey,
for
listen,
sure.
there's not many people like me and Eric Estrada out there, so we try to do our best.
Eric was great last year. Did you get to meet him?
Eric was awesome.
He was
To see
great,
the
man.
women, let me just tell you this. I'm a happily married, I've been married for 10 years. I'm very blessed. Eric Estrada, the women in his line, and I mean, the guy has still got it. One of the
He,
nicest guys out there.
yeah, he does. I'm telling you, the the ladies in line, they were just giddy. Their smiles were up to here. They were just giddy, and he was such a nice guy. He took pictures with people,
He
took
was.
selfies, and he says,
Yep,
no, you're doing it wrong. He held their camera up, took selfies, and
absolutely.
hugged them, and he's such a great guy. And then like the second day of the Nationals, he showed up. He's wearing like Syracuse Nationals gear. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, did you go over and they hook you up? He goes, no, I went over and bought like $500 worth of stuff. He goes, that's great. He goes, I love it.
He's a
I'm
good
like,
dude.
okay,
You know who else was
yeah,
great? And I feel bad because Junior from
yeah,
American
Orange
Choppers,
County, yeah,
Junior Tuttle was a great dude, and I have over the years may have said some. Uh-oh.
oh,
There we go. Oh, we got a little. I may have said some wrong things about him over the years because I never knew him, and it was just
right,
that TV show rivalry thing. And then I remember
yeah,
where I was driving. I'm like, well, who's in that front car? And they're like, well, that's Paul Tuttle Jr. I'm like, oh man, I better go say hello. And he was the nicest guy to me. He's like, oh hey
he
Schwag,
really
how
was.
are you? And I was like, oh, what a
He knew
great
who you
guy. And
were,
what
huh?
he was. Yeah, he was a really cool dude. We went and had lunch together. I went and picked him up in a golf cart. I said, I'll
Uh huh.
come get you. But we couldn't go 5 feet
Yeah,
without someone going, hey, Junior, hey, Junior. I was like, oh,
yeah,
man, tough life, but good dude. Very excited
yeah,
that I got to meet him.
yep,
And
yep.
I can't wait to see what you have next in store and what kind of celebs or car builders you're going to bring in.
Yeah, we got a lot of feelers out there, and obviously you're going to be there, and we'll see who else we can get on board. But yeah, Paul was great. All his staff was great. His wife was there the whole time. She was great to
Yep,
deal with. She was just the nicest person, and they're both just really super nice people. I hope they have continued success. I think he's got some ideas. He said he's got coming up. I think they're back on air, right? Or they were for a short period of time or
I
something like
do
that.
believe they're back on TV. You can never get those
Mhm.
Orange County guys. They're always going to be somewhere on TV somewhere.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they. I mean, they had the most popular show on TV for a little while, right? Is that what it was?
Well, yes, for 14 years that we were off the air, they did wonders. But now we are back on the air. And let me
So
just
they're not.
put this out
So
there,
their
all
time is
those
done.
shows. Their
Hmm.
time is done. Let me just tell you about some of these other shows. I won't mention them, but they have animals in their names and in their pictures. You guys better beware because your ratings are about to go tanking down very below because Monster Garage is back and we are going to take that trophy and we're going to be up top again. So
Hmm.
if they want, if we do 3 or 4 years, just get ready. In fact, take a
Yep.
break for 3 or 4 years. Just get off
Yep.
the air. And then when we are
Yeah.
done, you can go back on.
Take a vacation. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah. Yes.
Just get out of the way and let Monster Garage
Because you don't
through.
want to get
That's it.
canceled. So just take the vacation so you
You're
don't
doing
get
them a
canceled
favor.
and then
You're
come back.
doing them a favor right now. Public service
That's right. I am
announcement.
doing it. Yes.
Everybody else, just forget about it for a couple of years. Take a break.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
get some hot dogs. Go get some tacos. Have a good time.
Yes. Hey, I had a really good beer. You guys are very cool when you bring in people. You give them a little gift basket, a taste
Yeah.
of Syracuse, which is
Hmm.
awesome. You and your better half. What was that beer I had?
Oh
It was a local. Was it like a blackberry or? It was some kind of
boy,
beer. It was so good.
I don't remember what that was. She picked it
Oh
out, so
man,
Kaylee picked it out. So I'm not
it
really
was
too sure.
so
I'll have to
good.
ask her. You want some
All
more?
right, I
You want some more?
of course,
I gotta
of
put a whole
course.
Syracuse care package together for you. Apparently.
Please, I'm not a big drinker, right? But I enjoy a nice beer once in a while. And
Sure.
whatever beer
Well,
it was that she put in there was so good. I want to say it was like a blackberry or some kind of you wouldn't expect as a beer, but it was a local
Mhm.
brewery out of Syracuse. A lot of good local flavor that are
Yeah.
in Syracuse, New York, that a lot of people may not know about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll I'll check with her. We'll put together a Syracuse care package for her. We'll send it out to you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Brett. Well, thanks again. I appreciate your time. And I thank you for all the years you've been at the Syracuse Nationals. And we're just going to keep pushing forward. We'll get all through this craziness together, and
Yep.
we'll hopefully see you in July.
Yes, man. God bless. Thank you very much. And look forward to seeing you guys again soon. And if the folks at home want to keep up on the Syracuse Nationals, what should they do?
Well, that's a very good question. They can Facebook and Instagram is the best way. It's the most up to date information. Our website is a little bit behind, but we have all the show information on there. But for the most current information,
Cool.
just right on our Facebook page where you're watching right now, Instagram page, we'll have all the most current information. And we're going to be doing this series every Saturday at 1:00. We'll bring in a bunch of other people. We're going to be there's our website right there. I want a big shout out to Central New York Napa Auto Parts stores and McGuire's Car Care Products for being a big part of the Syracuse Nationals for a lot of years. Also, great companies like Geico, Sunoco Fuels, things like that. So you can see there's our website on the page right there. We got a lot of information on there. We try to keep it up to date as possible, but Facebook, Instagram is the best way to go.
All right, brother. Thank you again. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Be safe out there.